you there? Alright, well, there you are. So, with this phone, we've only got just the part that you saw where I can do a little bit of video to begin with, but now we're gonna switch it up and we're gonna shift to the sound portion, but hopefully with the other phone that I can use on a typical basis, I'll be able to do the video at the same time like you saw with the screen recordings, as well as go ahead and do these recordings so there's video with visual as well as sound in the background, but this is sort of the test for the first day, if you will. Alright, let's add a little bit more context. So for today, to run through a little bit of the rhythm, what our intention, so to speak, is to try to develop a little bit of a service from this location. And how it's meant to work is we're trying to combine edutainment with the essence of somewhat the podcast instance, where we're trying to add a little bit of value in the marketing genre of this whole spectrum of content and life and such things. So we're trying to just start to kick this vibe going forward a little bit, if you will. But so what we're trying to talk about next is adding steam through this medium and a bit more context by coloring hopefully the surrounding space and such with some color in the airs to try to develop a little bit more context for the Dinky Tech brand as we sort of move forward with things. And while we go about this, we're also trying to go ahead and create changes in the sounds so there's consistent changes. We've got a lot to try to run through, and we're trying to also develop a long stream for future sort of content in a similar line as such things as this. So please stick with this if possible, and perhaps also promote a bit more of the vibe alongside of me. This is something I suppose you could call or consider as edutainment. More or less it entails the type of content that relates to something from Dinky Tech known as spiritual finance. Spiritual finance is somewhat the addition of a few different things, including such things as spirituality and things that have to do with internal focus, not just in terms of like investing, for example, since investing entails energy that surrounds us in the whole world. So it's worth considering all these types of items to try to not only focus on investing mindsets, but a spiritual and also an internal type of a health mindset, meaning like health in terms of internal acknowledgement of ourselves and connection to the universe and how that connects to global statistics and a global economy and ecosystem. And in that respect, this type of somewhat edutainment, I suppose you could say, is somewhat a combination of meditation and spiritual internal focus in respect to somewhat the interest and the nature of investing as a whole in terms of that global ecosystem and acknowledging the energy that surrounds us at all times and the power that's within all people by just acknowledging the presence and the being of a presence of universal nature that exists within all people, if you will, 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 try to just internalize the concept and try to turn all your thoughts before going forward into like a liquid gold light. All your thoughts right about now, if you don't mind, please go ahead and try to turn the focus inwards and turn all of your focus in terms of thinking into golden thoughts. Just cleanse all the thoughts inside the mind and turn them into golden thoughts in terms of in the mind. In terms of in the mind, please turn all the thoughts into golden thoughts. Leave the thoughts that were present before this moment behind. Leave them behind and change the mindset into a golden mindset. Just change the whole mind. Whatever's depicted into a golden mindset. Just focus on that gold. That gold can somewhat be shifted into the form of light as well, but focus on the color of gold, the bright gold type that reflects in the light. That type of gold you want to just acknowledge, to be able to just sort of consider cleansing the mindset, if you will, to purify the feeling. For now, if you, so to speak, are able to do that for just a moment, then hopefully we can go forward. For now, and we'll try to focus on we're trying to go from here. Right about now, we'll just add a little bit of color in the form of a little piano. So now we're a bit back, and looking forward, we hope to do a bit more edutainment. And so now let's sort of conclude this short intro so that we can hopefully extend and expand, so we've got more changes going forward. And we'll, so to speak, try to just get a little bit more on the wavelength of connecting with things so that people can try to relate with the changes, absurd and peculiar sound changes, so we can try to expand some frequencies a little bit further into the world, into all countries. The mindset entails things that relate to, like plants, for example, plants, for example, plants, for example, plants, for example. Plants, for example. Plants, for example. So as we try to focus on these somewhat of these items, it's not just about plants, it's about the internal ecosystem. and trying to find that connection, so to speak, and focusing from here on how investing is connected to all this mindset. And investing is in nature that entails focused growth and liquid mindset into all the energies in the globe, all the planet, including the people that support different assets in life, and how to try to find cleansed energies and be able to align with those, down from interpersonal interactions and interpersonal connections and meetings and relationships, all the way up to investing into higher focused, dense, more rich, higher risk prospects that entail a bit more risk at stake in terms of assets. So there's a combination of what's more safe and then also what's a bit more risky in terms of investing, and trying to focus some things on safe and some things on more risky types of growth. In terms of the more safe assets, it's obviously relevant to have a hedge or a focus on items that will keep things inside the bank, so they're lower risk, so they keep growing no matter what, and you want that little shell to be sort of covered and always growing no matter what. Let's try to recontextualize and play that piano one more time from the top so we can close out this first session. So now there you are again. Now there you are again. Let's try to end on the concept of more color, and some changes that will come from basically nowhere. We want to continue to facilitate changes and try to put more content out, although technology sometimes a blunder. Sometimes it's an influence, sometimes it's a burden, sometimes it causes less frequent content, and the hope is to connect with audiences and people in the globe to be able to somewhat, hopefully, promote and connect with resources to be able to find some assistance to be able to continue to propagate this type of energy, and continue to be able to push certain elements of relevance out into all countries in the globe, so that all people are able to connect and somehow find resources that are able to empower, including energy that grows, not just food, not just plants, but endless electricity energy that comes from magnetism, comes from infinite energy, comes from being able to acknowledge and withdraw from the planet and the resources above and below, to extend beyond the present focus and present conditions and present items, to look higher so that all people can enjoy certain simple comforts of food, and certain distribution can occur throughout the whole planet, so that we're all able to consider how to care for one another in a global ecosystem. And that's what investing is all about ultimately anyhow, since we all want to do the best for one another, and adding value to the world is how investing fundamentally is meant to be grown upon. And so if we as a collective can consider all humans as precious, then in essence we can continue to use the growth and plant mindset as well as water mindset to continue to grow the water, grow the streams, grow the elements of focus into channeling, like plants, the ability to grow and add value to the whole globe, and for all people to just sort of try to be able to give that value to one another by spreading energy such as infinite energy, using magnetism, and being able to propagate that energy, and being able to continue to function with somewhat natural resources and energy that's in the air, to be able to try and go ahead and just add this somewhat value to each of us, a neighbor, because resources are somewhat abundant if we are able to create them, and we need to propagate them and grow them like plants and water from a spigot in the ground. And that also is why the Dinky Tech brand entails a logo mascot of a dog, and that dog has wings, the wings of a bat, and that bat is hoping to fly like a jet. The logo is an expression of a jet in addition, a jet that is flying towards the core of the earth, and that's why you see rainbows surrounding the jet, because it's somewhat able to facilitate the idea of rainbows breaking the sound barrier, and that jet flying towards the core of the earth so that it helps to grow rainbows throughout the whole earth and propagate this sort of mindset into all countries and lands that spawn the globe, so that all corners and such can all grab a piece of this growth and this energy and this infinite energy that can be built by infinite energy generators, and a mindset that connects to this and flow and continue to float with each other on this planet while we walk together and try to contribute and add value to all people, and not act as though certain resources are scarce so that some people or parties can benefit for no good reason, when realistically life is precious and very unique and dear in certain respects, so that it is ideal that all folks who have had the grace to encounter it are able to more so continue to enjoy somewhat of an experience that hopefully is swift and pleasant and blissful to a certain degree, so that we all in essence can vibe, like plants and flow in such things, in the color, and acknowledge the color in the air, and breathe the color and add color into the air, so that we are all harmonious, and we develop harmonious colors and changes of different sound that flow, because like ice cream in certain regards, all sound is lovely, and it can coalesce and cross over, overlap, continue to connect us in certain respects, since sound is a language that crosses across all borders and knows no bounds, and frequencies are able to functionally, fundamentally connect all of our hearts into the interest for greater functionality between all of us, for harmonious vibrations and connecting to nature and the spirit within nature and plants, and the essence of water running and growth into the crevices of us all. Seeing is also water, is within us and holds us together, and therefore we should flow, hopefully in the same way, in the same river. Thanks for now, Tiki-Tac, peace. We'll try to pick up and catch you and check up and check in a bit later. Thanks again, kind thanks. Thanks again, kind thanks. Alright, bye. Alright, bye for now.